unpacking all the elements of the piece, have it all laid out. It'll make it easier to install. So the first step is to unpack everything. So that's the Arduino down there. Made basically a motor shield.
Mm-hmm.
So these are for the sensors,
Mm-hmm.
these are for the motors. Orienting the piece so the narrower part is on top, oriented to me, right? This one only has holes on the top, that's the smaller body. I'm gonna go ahead and add the string. So this is one of the first things to do. So the red one is gonna go in here. You have to angle it a little bit because you wanna go through the hole and then come above that ledge. Wiggle it in a little bit. Just come in. So feed it through. And feed this in through the hole. You just gently pull it. Try not to just rub against the wood too much. One trick to get the right scale is to measure the bodies, and I know the small body is 16 inches. So you just measure the projection and make sure that you have the right scale.
And the reason you decided to go with maple, to use the maple, is
maple is a traditional wood used in instrument building, so I wanted to kind of keep with the tradition using this technology.
What kind of instrument?
All instruments, all string instruments, guitars, basses. Yeah, yeah, because it's what they call a tone wood. It's very hard, very dense. So when you tap it, you know, it really holds those vibrations and transmits.
Mm.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it
You
works.
underestimated my height.
It works for what it does.
No, this is perfect. This is great. We are going to use this this tool is what's needed. Because we can't really reach in there with the driver.
Okay.
But we have to use this little ratchet. So they're,
Okay, let's see, creature.
yeah, we're going to take the bodies up there. We're going to hold it to where it is on the projection. We're going to mark the holes.
Okay.
Then we're going to put it down, drill, anchor,
Okay.
and then we place it.
These are plywood bags,
Perfect.
so we don't even need them. Yeah.
Even better.
Okay.
use washers when installing the bodies so that the screws don't mar the wood. So the first thing we did was to mark the holes for the bodies, and we pre-drilled the wall. This wall has a plywood backing, so we don't need anchors. But if the wall is just sheetrock, we'll probably need some plastic anchors. So now we're just gonna put the body up using the screws and using that right angle ratchet screwdriver. So I'm not tightening all the way. One trick to this ratchet tool is that you need to press with one finger to give it pressure and then ratchet. I'm not tightening all the way until I have all the screws. This is the hardest part. Okay, these two people are a little finicky. You just gotta take your time, you know, and not be frustrated. That's better. It is what it is. For the base heads that hold the ends of the strings, this is the setup. So tuning gears to the outside, flat parts to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and place the washers in the holes.
What are the cookies for?
The cookies are for sustenance. After all this hard work. 2 sizes of washers here. Placing of washers might be inefficient at this point. So we'll find out. So what I'm going to do now is to thread the strings through the bodies, place them onto the heads, and then place the heads. Seems strange, but that is the way to do it, and I'll tell you why when I'm up there. So, after I place the strings in the body and the heads, I actually hold the heads to find the best position, and then just drill right in. So, you ready to drill right?
Set it up now.
For this one, I want to use the silver screws that I brought.
Okay.
I'm going to thread the string through the body. Like I showed you on the table, but it's actually, you need to do it while after the body's already installed. So, little hole in the bracket. Push it in. That is a base. So the important thing is to go above this part, right? So it goes through the hole and it goes over this other metal thing. And then washers that I put in. Not a good idea. And now we're gonna thread it here. So there's a hole inside the tuning. So you put it in the hole. Twist it around. And then you're tuning it, going counterclockwise. And you do this for a while. Until you have a good solid grip. It's not going to be taut because, right, there won't be tension yet, but you want to kind of keep your finger on it so it prevents the string from popping out. This is the hardest one because it's the thickest string. And the reason why I'm doing it like that, as opposed to just going ahead and placing the heads, it's because I need to make sure that the string comes out from the middle of the hole. Otherwise, as it vibrates, it'll hit the sides of the wood and give you some extra sounds, which can be okay. And we want to minimize it. This is kind of the purpose of this, is to see how other people do it. It's, you know, I have all these systems that I developed myself, but it doesn't make sense for anybody else. And you see that it's a little bit off the projection. That's okay. As long as it doesn't interfere with these lines, which are the lines for the motors and the sensors. And it's important also that the string comes on top of this longer part, not on the side, on top. This one specifically does not match the projection because string is on the left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually say exactly, what strings they are. I'm just going by keys. So threading the string through the tuning gear here. Also a little bit tricky. You have to kind of bend it so you can go into the hole, out, back up. For the guitars, it's helpful to have a little washer at the end, even though it has a little bead. Like the washer makes it better. So the trick with this, you see the tiny little hole where the string is going to go in there? So I put it up to the top. And then I put the string in there. And I turn it kind of up. So that the end of the string is going to come on top. And now it just popped up. And I'm just going to pull it with these pliers a little bit. Just so I have a secure connection there. Then I'm going to just keep going counterclock until it goes around. And now it's in. I'll go ahead and do the other one. Please you do both sides at the same time. Nice. Let's see. Just gotta turn it. These are little tool blades. Yeah. So for the tuning of the strings, they're not actually tuned to specific pitches, more sort of the comfortable tension. I will, once we're installed, I'll actually see what pitches they land on so that we have the record of that, which will make it easier. But, it's sort of a comfortable tension for the motors to activate.
So you don't mind it being out of
No, and that's another thing about this piece too. Over time, with humidity, the tension will change,
Right.
and I'm okay with that. The piece will sort of settle and evolve,
Yeah.
which is part of it. The space will determine the pitches. Oh, this guy's a little loose. I put a threshold on the light level.
Yeah.
So if it goes above a certain amount of light, then trigger the motors at a particular speed. And both of these things can be adjusted, both the threshold level for the lights and the power for the motors as well. These little tubes, so that it doesn't get bothered by ambient light. So it's only the light that hits directly into this. So when we install this, I have to aim it at the projector. Yeah. So there's a little wire here inside this, so I can position
Cool.
So we're going to start installing the sensors, and their numbers are right here close to the connectors. So it's easier to do it in order, I found. There are 6 sensors and 6 motors and 6 strings, and it's not a coincidence.
These little ones, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. One of these?
Yeah, it's got a tiny little head. Yeah, that's too big.
Yeah, there's something hold on to.
They're going to be on the outside of the strings. But what you want is a slight angle, and you're going to overlap like a tiny bit, like this amount. Right, so you have about 1/16 of an inch on the corner of the felt piece. So it's a good idea to put a staple right next to the motor. Just pick up any slack and make sure it's not pulling on the motor. because the Arduino is under this shield. So the power connector is kind of right there. So you just have to look under the mess of wires and you see the connector for the Arduino power supply. So I'm just putting that in. And then you most definitely need a staple right there to kind of prevent it from being pulled out. So the dangly one is for the motor, and it's actually labeled. Put it in. Right away for the staple. Okay. Now just go all the way down to the floor. We are now off the projection a little bit because this is a different circuit. But the main thing is to keep it parallel, maybe level even. The wires, we're going to staple it down, straight down, and then on the ground
We can mask
we
it.
can mask it, yeah. But it needs to have access to some kind of button or
And the whole idea is that we bring them, so we can bring them all.
cable management. It's a big part of everything.
Yeah.
They're basically just extensions of the power supplies. It's just electrical wire from the hardware store. They all want to go that way.
Okay, that's weird.
This
Oh, we
is
also-
also quite loose. Don't do this at home. I can do it because I can do it. And because I'm plugging one at a time, I'm actually going to start with the Arduino. Give it a time to kind of understand where it is in place. And you can also double check, make sure the Arduino's on. There's a green light that you can see from under here. It will be under the shield. And now the motors. Now, I'm going to stay here in case they start running like mad because I didn't adjust the levels. And if they just start running like crazy, I'm just going to pull it right out. It's subtle and not everything that hits the sensors will activate it. Some of it is kind of blue. And 6 is definitely not receiving. The B is the winding up motor not getting enough to overcome the inertia. That one should be fine. But yeah, I just have to together reading from the Arduino, see what the sensors are getting. I just have to make sure that it's aimed just right because it's such a thin tube. That it needs to be bright section. I want to keep an eye on. And what I think I'll need to adjust is what it's telling the motors to run. All right, so that's the big one. It goes all the way to 360. You know, you would think that maybe there's a way that they can all have the same settings, but I think the length of the wire, changes the resistance. plug in or you turn on the
3 steps?
2 steps. Projector on, video playing. Not projector on, menu on. Video playing, then on with this. That's it.
Okay. And we always have a folder with instructions how to.
But they have to follow. That travels with the piece.
I see.
Because then you can determine the distance, and you can determine the light levels, and then it will be possibly fixed, but it's uncoverable. That one. And that's like, they hit the worst case. Yeah, that's kind of worst case. If the felt bit flies off, or is frayed, or is not touching the string, that's another thing. It could be a thing where the motor catches and it's stalling, doesn't slip. So you just do like a tiny little bend of the metal. Yeah. And conversely, if it's not touching the string at all, you just gotta bring it in a little bit. I have a bunch of replacements for the belt, so my screw is from the window, right? Flat pad. Try to do the orientation. I think it matters that much. Then you have to adjust, because it's probably not going to be exact. It's the size, so just adjust it to 8-inch, 60 corner. Yeah, exactly. And as far as shooting, you want it kind of slack enough that the motor can hit it easy, move it easy, but tight enough to get sound. Otherwise it's just sliding. It's turning off the projector first. This is to turn the piece off at the end of the day. So the first thing is turn off the projector. And now we just unplugged the Arduino and the motor power supplies, and that's it. So now for turning it back on, this is super duper extra important. First, you turn on the projector. Before plugging in the Arduino and motors, you want to make sure the video is already playing. Now it's already playing, so just plug that in.